Welcome to another episode of Everybody's Got Something. I'm your host, Seth Hoffman. Today on the show, we have music adventurer Martin Stamper, aka Fast Heart Mart. He's here. Let's get into it and have a good time. Martin,
Great
first
to see you,
off,
Seth.
I cannot say enough how pleasured and just honored I am to be sitting here next to you, to know you, but to have you on the show and get to talk with you today.
It's mutual, sir. It is
you.
mutual.
Thank
we
you.
have a symbiotic situation here. You know?
Yes, we
Just
do.
love your work, and we've been friends for so long.
Long
now.
time,
Very long.
over 20 years, long time.
I'm so proud of what you've done here with this production, and
Thank you. I feel very blessed.
I watched a lot of these episodes. You've had a lot of my friends on.
Yes, and
over the
I've been a big fan of your show as well.
yeah.
Yeah.
Not quite as good as production, but hey,
Oh, it's the real deal.
happening.
It's authentic.
Yeah,
It's down home. I love it. So let's get to the story of where did Martin Stamper come into this world? Tell us a little bit about chapter 1 of the life of Fast Heart Mart.
What a great question, Seth.
Thank
I
you.
mean, what a great question.
Thank you.
Started this world as a baby, turns out. I was born, I had a mom and dad, you know, and it was in Washington, D.C. I was born in Washington, D.C., which is weird because God bless all the people in Washington, D.C., but it's the craziest, weirdest city that I've ever been to, and I've been to a lot. I've traveled all over the world, you know. So I was born.
Was it crazy, like, do you remember, like, your memories from back then, or since you've been back, you've noticed it more?
Yeah, just the whole vibe over the area. It's all politicians and lawyers and stuff like that. And then, of course, in the inner city, it was always a lot of crime, you know. And so it's just this like weird hodgepodge. I was the only white baby in the hospital, which is fine, you know. But I know I wasn't switched at birth, which is really nice, you know, because we know I was the only white baby in there. So, But yeah, and it's just like I grew. That is one thing about the area, though, is very diverse, which I really appreciate. We had people from all walks of life. My dad was from the Appalachian Mountains, so he had sort of an accent from there. And my mom's from New Zealand, as you know. You went and met some of my relatives. And Kiwis, And so she had a very thick accent. And apparently, when she first came from New Zealand to the United States to meet my dad's side of the family in the Appalachians, he had to interpret between the two because they had this thick accent from the mountains.
How about that?
And she had her thick accent from New
Incredible.
Zealand. So I grew up with that, and
Can you impersonate either of those accents?
I mean, not really. I mean, probably could do my dad's better than anything because I think I talk a little bit like that.
What's
sometimes,
something that he might say?
Like, I can't think of anything off the top of my head. But my mom would say stuff like, "We're going to the potty." You know, we'd always say, "Mom, we're going to the potty." Like, I thought we were going to a party. You know. She'd get, you know. And my dad, he would say stuff. He always had these really, you know, great sayings. I remember one that he had. It was, "Son, if you don't have time to do it right, you better have time to do it twice."
Oh, that's good advice.
And yes, he's a wise guy. My parents, thank God, are still alive.
Yes.
And,
and just from when I do watch your show, commonly your parents have tuned in, and just over the years I've been just very touched at their love for you and support for you.
They're just so great.
And your love for them.
Yeah, and it's, you know, I left home when I was about 18, I guess, maybe 19.
And this was from DC, or you had
from the DC area,
DC area,
And I'm jumping ahead here, sorry, but
it's okay.
I was going to say though, like I was kind of confused as a kid because I had my mom's from New Zealand, she had an accent, my dad had this accent, and we grew up in the DC area, and I had a lot of friends from all over the place, and so I would just kind of talk like whoever I was hanging out with that day, you know?
So that was probably early musical ear training from a young age,
maybe,
in a way that you didn't even know.
Right, totally. And when I went to New Zealand, by the time I left there, I sounded a little bit like a Kiwi because I couldn't help it. I was like adopting the accent, you know?
Did you hear this expression, sweet A's?
Sweet as. And I was like, what does that mean?
I thought they were always saying sweet ass.
I know.
And then they're like, oh, sweet as. I thought they were going to finish the sentence. Which is, hey, sweet A's, man.
One we like to make fun of is pinto. You have a pinto. We're going traveling with the pintos or pintles. Yeah. Anyway, just
love New Zealand.
They're great.
Love
they're
the
just so
Kiwis.
great over there. They're so funny.
So when did you first check out New Zealand?
So the first time we went I would have been in the 4th grade, I think. Okay. With my mom and my sister, we went over, and we visited for a few weeks.
It's quite a journey, quite a long journey.
It was a long journey. We went in the summertime here, so it was winter,
okay.
dead of winter. It was super cold.
Yes.
It was really
They
cold.
get that Antarctic winds.
Yeah, especially because they're in the South Island,
Right,
which it's even closer to Antarctica. That's how my parents met. Actually, is because my dad was stationed in Antarctica.
Right?
Yeah, that's right.
Wow.
And so he would get supplies in Antarctica and then go down to Antarctica. He would get supplies in New Zealand, then head to Antarctica.
Incredible.
Yeah. So, but then so I left the DC area in about 1997, I think, for the first time with my high school sweetheart. And I came out here to New Mexico, Albuquerque, New Mexico,
Yes.
University of New Mexico, and people were riding bikes everywhere.
Was New Mexico the destination, or were like on your way someplace?
No,
else?
that's where my high school sweetheart, she started going to school at the University of New Mexico. So I came to visit her once on her first semester, and I just fell in love with it. It was like people were riding bikes everywhere, and like it was super sunny, and I fell in love. I love all the chili, like the hot
maybe
chili
this could
stuff.
even be a good segue to the first song you're going to play for us.
Man, that's a great segue.
Yeah.
What a professional. Let's go.
I'm doing my best.
Let's go.
Yeah. All right. So you want to set up a little bit?
This is the first song I ever wrote in New Mexico. When I moved here officially in 1999. I traveled here a bunch of times before that with my girlfriend, but we moved here officially in '99 together. We got married actually in that year.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Well, it didn't work out, but it's fine.
Congratulations.
We had a good time while it lasted.
Following your heart,
it was
though,
fun while it lasted.
Yes,
totally.
yes.
And then I wrote this song. The first song I wrote was I was on the campus of University of New Mexico, and the sky out here is just so big.
I know. I'm from Wisconsin. I was like, how can a sky be bigger? It's incredible.
I was just like, I was laying on the ground one day. I was like, I could fall into this right now. And like, what's keeping me from falling into the sky? And so I wrote this song called New Mexico.
All right. Let's give it a listen.
All right.
On the planet Earth, where I live, there's a spot down here that the locals know. It's called New Mexico, New Mexico. And the sky is brave, it comes on down, it wraps around my head. I gotta hold on, or I'll fall off this world. I'll fall off this world, traveling through space and time, but without this world, I've got to hold on. Here in New Mexico. I'm somewhat serious about all of this. The space aliens and other space creatures, and they all know about the hole where people go. when they fall off this world, traveling through space and time, but without this world, they've got to hold on. Here in New Mexico.
Gorgeous song.
Thank you.
As New Mexico is a gorgeous place, so it's no surprise
place.
it inspires songs. So how long after being here did you feel like, hey, this is maybe could be home, or this is my place, as opposed to just like, oh, I'm checking it out, or we're here for a short period?
I'll tell you what happened, Seth. That's a good another brilliant question from you.
Appreciate it.
I'll tell you what happened. I think what happened when I felt like I was at home, one day, my wife and I were having some problems. We lived in a tiny house with a tiny apartment with, I mean, it's about as big as this table, this apartment was.
Yeah.
And we had 2 dogs, 3 ferrets, and like a lot was going on, right? And I was
And
like,
how old were you at this?
I would have
at this time?
been probably about 20 or 21 years
Okay,
old, maybe,
okay,
something like that.
uh-huh.
And I said to my neighbor at the time, who was also a really good friend of mine, I was like, we're having problems, and if I could just take her out to eat, I think it would help. You know, just go get a dinner together somewhere.
yeah.
Because we were eating, we're eating frozen burritos
Sure.
every day. You know,
Yeah.
it was bad. You know,
Yeah.
not bad, but it was just what it was.
Yeah,
you know?
it's hard. You want to have some special date night.
Totally, yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, if I could just take her out to eat, and he's like, why don't you go take your music? Because I'd been playing all these songs. You know, everybody knew I played music all the time.
Yeah.
And he's like, take your music and go play at the University of New Mexico. Just stick out your case, collect tips.
Yeah.
And I was like, Jaimo, that sounds like busking. I mean, that sounds like begging, you know?
Yeah.
And he goes, no, it's busking. And I was like, what does that word mean?
Right.
Because you remember, people didn't know what that, knew
No,
what that
I
word
never
meant.
until I
Yeah.
went to Europe. I never heard that. Someone
Right.
asked me, "Y'all been busking?" I'm like, have I been what? Like husking corn?
Right,
Like
totally.
Busking. It's like, yeah.
I was like, what is that? And he's like,
Right.
well, he had been living in New Orleans. He'd been
Okay.
in Europe as well, but
Yeah.
he'd just been living in New Orleans. And he goes, it's, all the musicians do it there. They play on the street, and people love it. They just love hearing music on the street, and they just stick out a hat, and if somebody wants to throw in a couple bucks, they
So
can.
prior to this, had you like played gigs or done things like
I'd
that?
done
or?
a couple open mics, I think, and that
But
was
you weren't
it.
like, I am Fast Heart Mart, the performer, like that. What you
not
hadn't
yet. No, it was like
become.
no,
you
no, it hadn't.
yet.
Yeah, it was just I was playing. I was writing. I've been writing since I was 12.
Okay.
And playing, and that was my dream. I really wanted to be a musician, but I
Yeah.
had no idea how to do it, you know?
Okay.
So Jaimo says, just take your guitar and your case and stick it out and see what happens.
Yeah.
And it was awesome, man. Like within an hour or two, I think I made like $25, which is, not great, especially to today's standards, but
Yeah.
I had made $25, so it was enough to take my wife
But
and I.
considering, hey, this is what you were doing anyways in your
know,
house.
totally.
But hey,
I was like, this is great. And so it was enough to take my wife and I out to a little bit of
do you
a
remember
restaurant.
what? Do you remember?
We went to a Chinese restaurant, I think. But while I was playing, I met a bunch of people who really liked what I was doing and made longtime friends just on this first session of busking. It's so weird, right?
Incredible.
And I met Bill Festi, who owned the Blue Dragon.
Wow. Yeah, Bill. I remember Bill. Yeah.
Bill Festi, he was there and he's like, hey, I really like your music. I would love for you to come play at my New Orleans style cafe. It's called the Blue Dragon. And I can't pay you, but I can feed you
right?
and your wife.
Whoa.
And we'll take a tip jar around every set for you. We'll have you play 2 sets, and
Yeah.
we pass the tip jar.
Yeah.
And that was it, dude. I was like off to the races. I called my parents the next day, and I was like, wow. My dad answered, because it was back in the day before speakerphones, whatever.
Right.
And my dad's like, hey, and how's it going? I was like, well, I'm dropping out of the university. I'm going to pursue my music career full time. I got a gig at this coffee shop, And my dad's like, here's your mom. It's just like, but as you know, they're super supportive now.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
at first, it was just like, oh my God.
I
but
mean, that's when someone goes off to university. That's always the, you don't hope for that phone
I know,
call
totally, yeah.
right away.
Totally, yeah. But I just never experienced university culture where I'm
and
from.
were you
know?
studying anything particular at the time, or just like taking?
I
the
wanted to be a
general classes?
robotics engineer ultimately, which is crazy. But yeah, that's really if I was going to do something, go to
Yeah.
school for something, that's what
Yeah.
I was going to go to school.
Yeah.
So that's when I felt at home in Albuquerque. Is when
Wow.
I was like,
talk about
I'm
a
a musician now.
life-changing
Yeah.
experience.
It was awesome. It was so
this
awesome.
this guy who gave you this advice sounds like there's people in our lives that give us these gems of wisdom that we have no idea how
Totally.
valuable they're going to be.
And there was another guy who's a saxophone player. You may remember him. His name was Andrew Paul.
Andrew Paul. Okay.
He had the Andrew Paul Quartet. He was a jazz musician, played the saxophone, and we were friends. I haven't heard from him in years, but
I know another guy named Andrew plays jazz saxophone. I don't know if he
It
goes
might
by
be
a different
him.
name. Did he used to play with Zoltan? Or
yeah,
a
I
different guy?
think maybe they did. He definitely came to the Blue Dragon and jammed
Yeah,
with people.
Yeah.
But one day we were
Yes.
talking, and I was like, Andrew, they keep telling me you should stay in school because you need something to fall back on.
Yeah.
And he goes, and he was older at the time, probably in his 40s or 50s. I'm
Yeah.
not sure how old he was, but he was
Yeah.
a lot older.
Yeah.
I was like, what? He's like, you think if I had something to fall back on, I'd still be doing this? And I was like, that's it. You got to take the safety net away. 'Cause
Yes.
there's nothing. If you have
Yes.
something to fall back, me being me,
Yeah.
I'd fall back on it. I'd be
Yeah.
like, this is too hard. I'm gonna
Yeah.
just fall back on
Yeah.
this. You know?
Take the net away, fellas.
Totally.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Well, I think it's about time for another song.
let's do it.
On the topic, what do you stick to New Mexico? theme,
Yeah, let's
really?
stick to New Mexico. That sounds good.
All right.
This one's called Cheap and Sunny in Albuquerque.
Mm.
Because when later on, I started traveling with my music, with a band and all this stuff, and we would be traveling. And one day we were up in Seattle, Washington, and somebody says, why in the world would you ever live in Albuquerque, New Mexico? And I go, just to put it simply, it's cheap and sunny. I love it.
Brilliant.
So I wrote this song called Cheap and Sunny.
All right, I love it already. Let's give it a whirl.
In the southwest of the U.S. there is a place where the sky's blue almost every day and it hardly ever rains. Well, don't worry of your money. It's cheap and it's sunny. Coyotes howl, the snakes rattle, and the roadrunners run. The nights are cold, but the days are warm, and there's always plenty of sun. Don't worry of your money, 'cause it's cheap and sunny. It's cheap and sunny in Albuquerque. It's cheap and sunny in Albuquerque. Ancient Egypt's on the Nile like the Rio Grande. Albuquerque is such a place of isolation. In the southwest of the U.S. there is a place where the sky is blue almost every day and it hardly ever rains. It's cheap and sunny in Albuquerque. It's cheap and sunny in Albuquerque. It's cheap and sunny in Albuquerque. It's cheap and sunny in Albuquerque.
What a gem of a city we get to be here in.
Oh,
And
man,
it's true. Coming from Wisconsin is a similar thing. It's not too expensive. not beautiful weather, beautiful skies.
It might get cold, but the sun still comes out.
Yes.
I just love that.
Yeah,
If you
and
can
even in
just
the
count.
winter, or the summer, it gets hot, but then the nights are glorious.
Totally.
So it's like a little bit of everything.
Which is, I kind of try to touch on that in the song, you know,
Yeah.
the Cheap and Sunny song.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 So I'm curious, as I hear you play, I'm hearing this awesome bass player, and I've been looking around to check behind things, and I don't see the fella or the lady. Can you? Where's your bass player hiding? What's happening?
Well,
How
his
you
name,
doing
he
that?
has a name.
Okay.
His name is Chip.
Chip.
He's really small. Actually, you have to have a microscope to see him.
Ah, okay. I knew it had to be something like that, because otherwise.
Yeah, but he lives in my pedal board. And I'll tell you what, Seth, you know,
Yes.
people could talk trash all they want about my bass player,
Yeah.
whatever, but that guy, he plays it the same way every time I showed him.
Yes.
I show him a song once and he plays it the same way every time.
Yes, doesn't overplay.
Doesn't
it's not
overplay, doesn't
soloing
bogart.
over.
Yeah, he's not taking bass solos all over the
Yeah,
place, you
yeah.
know, and he never drinks, dude. The guy never gets drunk.
That helps. That
He
helps.
stays in my hot motorhome for hours and days.
No complaining. or
No
anything?
complaining, like, and he doesn't even, I don't even have to pay him. So
Wow.
I know, man. I mean, I had human bass players for a long time, and,
Yeah.
and then during the pandemic, I lost my bass player. He moved to
Okay.
Wisconsin. I
Oh,
mean,
okay,
yeah, but
okay.
so he moved to Wisconsin, and I just said, I'm just going to go with this guy, Chip,
Yeah.
and yeah, I love him. He's a great guy, and the nice thing is Chip can play. Like, even if you wanted to come in and join us, you could still play because Chip is just playing the bass, you know.
Yeah.
You could get accordion. I have an accordion player sometimes,
Yeah.
and fiddle players.
And how does
and
Chip learn all of these songs?
I show him how to
You show him
play
how to
them,
do it.
yeah, at first, and then he just takes it from there.
And he just, because like, do you call out the songs? How does he know which song, when it's going to happen? Or he just started off, or he starts it off, or like.
It's a combination of both. I usually tell him with my feet,
Okay.
like what the next song is going to be. I have these signals
Okay,
I do with
okay.
my feet. It's like baseball kind of like
Gotcha,
thing.
gotcha.
And because the crowd doesn't need to hear all that. You know,
Yeah,
hey, the
yeah.
next song is going to be blah blah blah. you
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
And they're like, oh, we already know what's the
Yeah.
next song. So it's all signals, like feet signals though. Instead of hand signals, it's feet
And
signals.
so do you have a set list set, or can you just in the moment be like, oh, I'm going to play this song, and with your feet decide, okay, the song, or is it kind of, it's
no,
in
I can
order?
decide. I can decide what any order I want
Yeah.
based right off the fly. You know.
Yeah.
Unlike your bass player or your
Yeah.
your looping and stuff,
Yeah.
it's not spontaneous. So it's
Right.
not spontaneous. He's
Right.
not a very spontaneous bass player. Like, you have to tell him like way ahead of time, like when you're
Yes.
gonna change or whatever like
But
that.
he's got such a groove. I mean, it's just,
Yeah.
you can't help but want to dance to it.
That's the whole point. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I moved to San Diego in 2013.
Yeah, so what inspired that, by the way? Because you were, you still are a New Mexico legend, as far as I'm concerned, and many
Thank
are.
you. Thank you.
So to leave such a wonderful place, what inspired the transition?
It was a lot of things. I went through a breakup in 2010, I guess it would have been. And, when you go through a breakup, when you've been with somebody it was not my wife, it was a different relationship, but it was, it was just a tumultuous time where a lot of change, And so I just kind of rambled around in my Volkswagen van for a long time. Went back to Virginia and stayed with my family a lot and just did some soul searching.
How long were you away from New Mexico?
I was back and forth between 2010 and 2013. I kind of would go
Okay,
back and forth
okay.
between Virginia and here, a little bit in California.
Mhm.
And then in 2013, unfortunately, I had a nervous breakdown.
Yes.
I have seasonal affective disorder, which is
Yes.
why I was super depressed when I was a teenager in the winter times.
I bet.
We didn't know what it was. Like
Right.
every winter, we'd come around and I would just tell my mom, like, "Hey, Mom, I don't know how to say this, but I don't necessarily want to kill myself, but I don't want to really live anymore. I
Yeah.
just don't want to live." And that was started when I was like 12 to the time I was 18, probably. When I moved to New Mexico, though, it never happened. I never got that,
Wild,
because the
wild.
sun was always out,
Yes. Yes.
And so when I tried to move back to Virginia and start my life again, I felt great. I was with my family again. We were all, it was super happy. I had met a woman and we were getting along. We really liked each other a lot. She played music too. But then that seasonal affective disorder hit me in like March is when it always hits me. It hit me, dude. And I was so depressed and I couldn't figure out, I was like, what? I feel like a teenager again.
Yeah.
And I couldn't figure out, I was like, why do I feel like this? And I realized too late you know, like by June I was fine again, but I was just like, I can't live here anymore. Like, this is crazy. So if I would have known, it may be, I don't know, anyway, but I moved to San Diego at that time.
And so you had visited there and had an idea that you
I'd been playing my music in San Diego since about 2002, actually. I'd go out there and play.
And did you had some friends out there?
Had made some friends, had some musician friends especially, and they were ready for me to move out there. They were just like, hey man, come on out, we'd love to have you. So I had a really nice crew of people. One of my really good friends, he had a yoga studio that he hired me to do videography work for them. And so I did it. I just made the leap. I was in a terrible state, man. My mental state was just I was just barely surviving, dude. It was so bad. And so I was like, I sat there in Virginia and I was like, I couldn't even get out of bed. And I said to myself one day, I was like, I'm gonna pack my van and I'm gonna go to the most beautiful place that I've ever been, which is San Diego, you know, and just try to start my life again. And I did. It was like from ground zero, dude. It was so hard.
That's a courageous thing to do. I mean, it sounds like it was like a survival thing.
It was,
but
man.
Still to just pick up and start off.
I was either going to self-destruct or I was going to do that. I was going to move to San Diego. That was the two options.
Well, I'm glad you chose that one.
Thanks, man. Yeah. So I did it. It's a tough music scene out there, you know.
Yes.
So
yes.
And so I started playing the banjo more because.
Okay, so that's I was going to ask you. I was going to ask when the transition came to the banjo. Yeah,
because we have farmers markets all year round out there. Yes. It's growing. There's 2 growing seasons every year out there.
Okay.
So there's farmers markets all year round, and I was playing, you know, some of the bars. I had a band together. We were doing well, but I said to myself, if I could somehow make a living at these markets, that's where it's going to happen. And at the time, in 2013, most of the musicians out there didn't want anything to do with these markets. It's like a 4-hour gig. Yeah. You're playing for tips most of the time, like no payment, you know. And I was like, I noticed every time I played the farmer's market, if I brought my banjo out, which is a lot different than this banjo here, but when I brought the banjo out and played some upbeat stuff with my bass player Chip, the kids would start dancing. The parents would be like, oh my God, my kid's dancing, but now we're dancing to a Pink Floyd song on the banjo, and like, so the money would start flowing, the tips would roll in, you know, and I would get food from the vendors, like the farmers would give me food, and things started to come together about 2016. That's when things really, I started being a full-time farmer's market musician. So 3 years in, I was able to start make a living again as a musician, which was really nice.
All right, well, let's take a turn. I want to keep hearing about that, but I also want to hear about the next song you're going to play for us.
Yeah, this is a song coming back to the Albuquerque scene. Yes. This is a song by the Handsome Family. And I discovered the Handsome Family when I was living in Virginia for one summer. I know I've traveled like back and forth everywhere, but one summer after I got divorced from my wife, actually, I went back to Virginia again, and this was 2001 or 2000, I think it's 2002. Okay. And there was a Bloodshot Records compilation, and there was about 40 songs on this compilation on 2 CDs. And one song in that compilation really stuck out. It's called Weightless by the Handsome Family. I was obsessed. I was like, this sound, it's like, they call it gothic country, you know? It's like a sound that I just loved it. And I checked out their stuff. And when I moved back to Albuquerque a few months later, they were playing at the Spring Crawl. And I was like, what are you guys doing here? We just moved back here from Chicago, because Brett, you know, the husband in the band, he's originally from the Albuquerque area. Well, he spent a lot of time in Albuquerque, you know? So they moved back. And I was just like, this is a sign from God. I need to stay in Albuquerque again and like stay here, because this band I was obsessed. I was just like, they were, and I still am. I mean, a lot of people are.
His voice is so hypnotic.
Oh gosh.
I remember shortly after the first time I heard him, I was sitting at the Frontier, and I was like, and I heard like that voice, and he was sitting in the booth, and I was like, should I say hi? Like, no, he's just eating his meal, and I was like, that's the dude.
I'm just having a breakfast burrito here, if you don't mind. Yeah, so, and then she does all the lyrics. You know, she writes the lyrics, he writes the melodies. Yeah. And it's a great team, and this is a song of theirs called My Sister's Tiny Hands that I cover.
All right, let's check it out.
cheek against my sister's, we were born like tangled vines. And we lived upon a river where the black clouds never lingered. The sunlight spread like honey through my sister's tiny hand. Oh, while picking sour apples and the wild waving grasses, sister stumbled in a briar and was bitten by a snake. Now every creature cast a shadow under the sun's golden fingers, but when the sun slips past the waving grass, some shadows get dragged along. So alone I took to drinking bottles of cheap whiskey. I was stumbling through the backwoods, killing snakes with a sharpened stick. But still I heard her laughing in the wild waving grasses. Still I heard my sister splashing at the river's sparkling shore. So I took my rusty gas can and an old iron shovel. I set the woods to burn and filled the river up with stone. Now every creature cast a shadow under the sun's golden fingers, but when the sun slips past the waving grass, some shadows get dragged along.
Gorgeous cover.
Thank you.
Have they heard it? Do you know?
I don't think they've heard that version. I've told Rennie, because Rennie sends out newsletters,
Okay.
and I'll be like, I'm working on this version of My Sister's Tiny Hands with my claw hammer style,
Yeah.
trying to work it out, you know,
Yeah.
and I finally got it worked out like 6 months ago, I
Okay.
guess,
Yeah.
because I knew I was going to be spending more time in Albuquerque and New
Yes.
Mexico again, and I was
Yes.
like, I got to go back to my New Mexico roots, you know, so.
Yes. I think these songs though would fit anywhere. I think anyone would appreciate. I know especially when
they
you're in New
love-
Mexico,
yeah.
but
They love that song, My Sister's Tiny Hands, everywhere I've ever gone. People
Yeah.
are like, it's so cool. Like,
Yeah.
who wrote that, you
Yeah.
know? And I'm just like, I know this
isn't that
band.
a cool power of a good song? It's
It
like
totally-
someone takes it and just like something about it, it captures you. It's
Totally. It's like that dark, they just
Yeah.
have such a dark, but also they have a sense of humor in their stuff.
Yeah. Which I think
love.
is I think I could say the same about
Thank
your
you, yeah.
songs. I love your songs, and I wanted to ask you I'm sure it's not the same for all, but your general process for writing a song. Do you kind of get a line, or is it a music lick? What generally is the way your songs are born?
That's that classic question, right? Usually I start out with a lyrical idea, like for a chorus probably, but I just, the longer I'm a songwriter, the better I know if you've got a good melody and good music, that's the easiest way to start a song, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because you could have all the best lyrics in the world,
Yeah.
but if the music's not there, dude, it's not going to work.
Right.
You know, it's that saying, it's not what you say, it's how you say it.
Yes.
And it's so true, man. You could have terrible lyrics, but a good, you know, some people call it
Sure.
a beat or whatever, music,
Sure.
and the song's great, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, there's a lot of artists out there like
Yeah.
that. We're like, dude, these
Make a
are
long
gibberish
list
lyrics.
of very wealthy people.
Yeah, totally, yeah. And so that's where I usually start these days.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. I didn't play any really new songs of mine
Yeah.
today, but
Well, I sure hope you'll be back many times.
yeah, I'd love to. I'd
Yeah,
love to come
yeah,
back, and I hope you're on my podcast
I
sometime.
would sure be honored. I'd be
You know, the
honored to.
production is it's an iPhone. You
I
know,
love
just
it.
put up the iPhone,
I
go
love it.
for it, and Yeah, man, I would love to interview you because I have so much to ask you.
Yes.
You know,
Well, we'll do it. Well, I'd be honored to continue our conversation in the camper or wherever.
yeah, totally.
Wherever the show will be.
Well, let's try to
then.
maybe before I leave at the
Yeah.
end of May, maybe we can do that.
That'd be awesome.
Be
That'd
great.
be awesome.
Yeah.
So, living as a songwriter performer, it's not the easy life, but at the same time, you probably can't imagine doing something else. But you are someone who you're an authentic soul. You walk your talk. How's that been in life? For better or for worse, just being such an authentic, honest soul as you are.
Yeah, it's gotten me a lot of good places. I've met a lot of really good people that way. So, you know, people, when they appreciate somebody like myself who's authentic, I guess, I think
Yeah.
I'm authentic anyway.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's okay to say that. I'm authentic. You know, is that okay to say about
Right,
yourself?
I know.
Yeah.
It's like certain thing. It's like no, I'm humble. I'm the most humble
like-
person there's ever been. What are you
I know-
talking about? Right.
totally, yeah,
No, you
totally.
could say you're. I think anyone
I
who
think I'm
knows
pretty
you,
au-
I think would describe you as a pretty authentic.
Yeah, and
person.
it's you know, it's served me well. It definitely got me into some trouble, you know, lately in the last 6 years since the pandemic.
Yeah.
Speaking out, and you know, I was very, you know, vocal about not taking the COVID injections. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
and I thought I was respectful to everybody who did. I just said, you know, if you want to take it, please. I respect that, but please respect me not taking it. You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
And so that's when a lot of kind of trouble started in my life.
It was a wacky time. Wacky. It seemed like the world got. We were talking earlier
Yeah.
about it seemed like the left and right almost kind of
They
got
flipped.
They flipped, and I was like, is anyone else seeing
I
this?
thought
Like,
I was like, I thought like, you know,
I thought-
anti-establishment was like a left wing.
Right.
I've
I
always
thought
been
it was
left wing.
like pro-choice, anti-censorship. I
Totally.
thought those were all like the liberal thing.
Right.
It was very confusing.
And so I was confused. I was like, you know, I had friends for a long time who didn't even vaccinate their children, and they stuck up for their right to not do so. I was
Yeah.
like, I don't know if I agree with that or disagree,
Yeah.
but I think
respect
it's your
right
right
to
to not
choose and
do
to
it. You
parent
know.
that way, yeah.
And a lot of those people, they were some of my worst enemies during the pandemic of this. So I was like, what is going on? You know.
Yeah.
And there's a saying, you know, I didn't leave the left left me.
Yes.
You know, and that's been my experience. And so, yeah, I've lost touch with a lot of people because of these issues that came
Yeah.
up, you know, after the pandemic, during the pandemic or whatever. And, but it's just me, you know, I have to be authentic. I had people writing me who are fans of mine, and they were like, look, I'm at a job and I'm getting forced to take this, or else I'm going to lose my job.
Yeah.
And I had the privilege to speak out, you know, like
Yeah.
as a musician, a folk singer, or whatever.
Yeah.
I thought it was my position to speak out and say,
Yeah.
hey, and I don't know why any of our leadership couldn't say that too, by the way. I don't care what leader we're talking about. All it would have taken was people say, hey, we've got this new medication for COVID. We think you should take it, but please don't alienate those who choose not to.
Right.
You
Well,
know?
I mean, unfortunately, we'll call it conspiracy theorists, whatever. It seemed like there was some sort of agenda that was bigger than just a health concern that was
Totally.
going on.
It seemed like they just wanted to push big pharma to me. That's
Yeah.
but all sides,
Yeah.
both sides,
Yeah.
everybody. I mean, that's what it looked like to me.
And as we talked, it's you know, if you look like what's the track record of some of these companies, have they proven themselves to be completely authentic and moral and all these things? And if you know, you don't have to look too far to find.
Pfizer was sued in I think 2009. It was like the biggest lawsuit in history, I think, at the time.
Of
And
like
they
a criminal,
lost.
of a criminal
Yeah.
charge. Yeah.
And it was like, and then here it was, like
So it's
11 years, 10
can't
years.
people
later.
just be skeptical? Is it okay to be? Is it okay to be skeptical? I'm
Totally.
not saying anti this, but can I ask a question?
Totally.
People ask a question.
Again,
well,
yeah.
and during that time, I mean, I've always respected you, but during that time, just my level of respect and appreciation for you just grew immensely because. Just you to be authentic, but to have that courage and to say and to know that there's consequences of losing people, losing support, but to have your truth be such a guiding force. I respect and honor that so much, and
Thank you.
And I wish to be more just fearless, kind of like that. Not saying you're without fear, but
Right.
to do it anyways. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, totally. It's almost, I got a self-destructive side to myself in some ways, but it can be used for the good,
Yeah.
like. Yeah, it was tough because, like I would see people like speaking out on their behalf of what they thought,
Yeah.
and they just weren't interested in hearing what anybody else thought. And
Right.
if anybody else had a differing opinion, they were automatically just shunned. And
Right.
Seth, it got close to where I thought people were going to be put into gulags
Yeah,
over this issue.
yeah.
I was like, this is crazy.
I mean, I just honestly, some say, oh, good, it's behind us, but I fear that it's not fully behind us, and I just pray. I do believe in prayer, and I pray that we will come through it and not go back to something like that.
Totally. I asked my so-called my left-leaning friends, who have many still, thank God, we were able to transverse that time and get through it together, even though we disagreed and stuff.
Yeah.
And I asked them now, if that were to happen again, would you feel the same way? Would you be so, what's the word? It's not accepting or, not accepting.
Actually.
Yeah. And I asked them that, and I think a lot of people did learn, but I don't know if everybody did,
I think it'll be very surprising. I think some did, but I think it could just, like a snap, just go right back to it. But
tolerance is the word I was thinking of. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've always been very tolerant, which is why I always consider myself a liberal.
Yes.
Is I tolerate people's lifestyles that are not my own.
Yes.
And I always do. I always will.
Yes.
I've never considered myself a conservative.
Yes.
But now, just because of all these issues, it's like I'm not part of the left anymore. It's just it's really weird.
I can relate very well. And I was out of the country during when all these things were going on. So I thought, am I seeing things differently because I'm not there? But I can relate. Well, let's hear a couple songs, and then we'll finish out our interview. I wish we had hours and hours more. So we
Me
will.
too, man. Yeah.
But
totally.
let's hear. Tell us about the couple. You're going to play two more songs, then we'll close out with one at the end.
I think we got one more song,
is it
right?
just
and
one
then
more?
one more, just me, and then one with you.
Love it. Okay.
The two of us together.
Tell us.
So this song is called "I'm an Alien and I Want to Go Home."
Okay.
And it is about that. It's about feeling alienated. It's also about, I do believe that we used to live as hunter-gatherers on this realm we're in, this matrix, this whatever we're calling it, simulation. Some people think we're on a globe. Some people think it's flat. Whatever. I don't know. I'm very agnostic on a lot of subjects these days.
Yeah.
But I think we used to live in a time when we would just be hunter-gatherers, and we would be in harmony with nature, like the indigenous people of North America, and all that. I think at one point everybody was indigenous, in some parts of the world. And you would just live in harmony with nature, eating fruit off the trees, animals, whatever you could find. And you have to ask yourself, are we better off now than we were then?
Right.
And that's what this song is really about. It's like, wait, everything has gotten so convoluted. Maybe we need to go back to the start.
Right. What does progress mean exactly?
Right.
Yeah.
We're like, it's just seemed. There's a story of a white woman who was captured by the Comanches when she was very young, and this is a well-documented case. And she lived with the Comanches for a very long time until she was in her 20s or something, and they rescued her, from the Comanches finally, and she went back to civilization, And I guess after a few years in civilization, she was like, I want to go back to the ways of the Comanche.
Wow.
And they were really, they would just eat meat and hunt buffalo. They say they were ripped, dude, because they were like keto. I mean, they didn't call it keto then, but all they ate was meat.
Yeah.
And they would go for days without eating because they were on ketosis all the time, and they were like ripped and just like super warriors. And that's what this song is about. It's like, wait, have we gotten too far off, So that's what, yeah.
And it's a true story.
It's a true story. The mothership is coming to pick me up.
All right, let's check it out.
Living in a garden of Eden, no one's eating fruit right off the trees. Harmony on my mind, living a life of ease. God spoke to everyone over an intercom. The speakers were in the clouds, we all lived in a wigwam. We could speak back to him on a microphone that was hanging from a ceiling from a wishbone. Well, One morning God spoke to us and he made a forecast. You're all getting too wild, so now you must fast. Breakfast was skipped and no one really cared. It wasn't until supper people started getting scared. Stomachs were rumbling louder than the clouds. I never missed a meal before. I thought I might pass out, so sat down on the couch and started watching some TV. There's some guy on the news digging in the dirt, planting pinto beans. He called himself a farmer. He's taking control of the situation. Went back to digging some holes. I looked over at my friend who sat in a recliner. I noticed he was eating. I asked him what he said, TV dinner. Well, maybe he had forgotten, so I reminded him. God's not to eat until further instructions. We don't need God anymore. You're a simple little man. 'Cause now the farmer steals his food from his taco stand. So I followed my nose down to the smell of the tacos. I walked up to the counter. I ordered 5 bean burritos. The kid there asked for here to go, and I told him that I'd stay. He pushed some buttons on the register, said, that'll be $6.50. I didn't know what money was, so I asked him for his boss. He looked at me kind of crazy, and he told me to get lost. Feeling very weak by now, so I went to the microphone. I wanted to ask God this fast could be postponed. When I spoke, I could not hear a reply, 'cause there was too much noise outside from all the people and cars passing by. Walking down the street to find a fruit tree. There's lots of green grass, but not a single thing to eat. Starving. Sat down on the sidewalk with my bottle of liquor. Some people threw some coins at me, but I had no idea what they were. So I got a job mopping floors. It lasted almost a day. I had no odds and I was late, so I got fired without pay. So that night I slept in a park underneath the stars when a flying saucer came down from the planet Mars. I've been looking for you, the creature said to me. And just like that, at the speed of light, I went off to another galaxy. Goodbye. So long, planet Earth. I never understood these people anyway. That's a true story. All right.
The mothership.
Mothership is coming to
Mothership.
get me,
Yes,
hopefully.
yes.
And all of us that want to go.
Yes, yeah. I sometimes when people, watch the news and they're thinking of the state of the world, a lot of people, I think about that,
Totally.
Maybe that would be such a bad thing if these things.
We'll go back to basics.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to sneak into the Amish community at this point. You
Yeah.
know, like
I know I've heard the same thing about how they when they become of age, they can
the
leave.
Rumspringer. Yeah.
Right, and they leave,
Yeah.
And I guess it's some like 98% plus whatever could come back. They can't wait to come back to
Right.
the
I can
Amish
see
ways.
that.
When they think like, if they go out and party and all this, they'll never come back. But from what I understand, they can't. After that, they are ready.
Most
to
of them
come
want
back.
to come back.
From
huh?
what I understand,
Yeah,
from
that would make
what I've
sense.
heard.
This is chaos we're living in. You
Yeah,
know, I get.
yeah,
and
yeah.
I'm grateful, very grateful for everything we have. You know,
Yes.
and stuff. But
Yeah.
we also have to pat ourselves on the back. I think all of us that are living through this. It's like, what a time, dude. What a
Yeah.
time to be
Yeah.
alive. I know, like, there's been worse times, probably. World War II and I, and millions of people dying
Sure,
and whatever.
sure.
But it's a different psychological type
It
of
is.
situation we're going
Yes.
through here. Yeah.
Yeah, with like a combination of like suffering and abundance and scarcity and not sure what is actually real. That's
Totally.
one of the wildest things. Like you just don't know what to believe. Like
I
with all the
know.
information and technology, whereas maybe more confused than we've ever been.
Totally.
As a society. So tell us a little bit. What's it like to be Martin Stamper? What is it like to be you?
Well, we didn't talk about the name
life?
Fast Heart Mart, right?
Please
so I was.
do.
It turns out
Tell
I was born with a heart condition that nobody knew I had. I was passing out since the age of 11, and unfortunately, a lot of people on my dad's side of the family would just die suddenly, what they call die suddenly. And trust me, I thought maybe it was a vaccine injury, you know, and I've looked into it. But my dad confirmed to me recently, his grandfather was about 44 years old when he died suddenly. We don't think he had any vaccines. So it's definitely hereditary in my family, whatever it is. And it wasn't until I was 17 that I was diagnosed with this condition called long QT syndrome. And I'm lucky to be alive. You know, I have relatives who died very early age, you know, like one cousin was 12 and my aunt was about 31, I think. And so I'm lucky to be alive, and it's what guided me to be a musician, I think, professionally, because I was going to go in the military. That was what I was going to do after high school, but they wouldn't let me in because I was now diagnosed with a heart condition. And I just never really liked school, just never did, you know? And so I think God just was like, I heard Georgia O'Keeffe say something to the effect of, God told me if I paint the mountains, he'll take care of the rest. And that's the way I see being a musician and an artist, is just put it out there and then let God, or whatever you believe in, let the bigger, higher power take care of the rest. Because there's a reason you're here in this simulation or wherever we're in. There's a role. Everybody has something, you know? So, I think that's been my mission in life, is to encourage people to follow their bliss, you know, and I'm hopefully an example, you know, and of course it's been a ride. It's been ups and downs. And
have you ever had moments where you thought, you know, this has been a good ride, maybe I'm gonna, you know, do something more conventional, or has it been a pure, like, no, this is my path?
Oh, dude, constantly. I'm constantly doubting my path, constantly looking. I was just online the other day looking at online jobs, being like, maybe it's time, I'll be 50 years old next year. Maybe it's time to like get a real job and just forget about this. Just forget about all this, you know? And like, and I wish I could, man, but every time I've had like a regular job, all I think about is music, you know? Like, and it's not fair to that job. It's not fair to my life.
And to all the people in your life.
Totally, yeah. And I think there's people out there, you know, like you probably have musicians that you look up to. They're just like, they just mean everything. Like Isaac Brock from Modest Mouse is one for me. Bob Dylan. These people really inspire me, and I hope I do the same for somebody out there, maybe, you know? But that's not what makes me go, I guess. Really, I just try to make a living doing what I know is my bliss, you know?
Well, we're going to definitely have to continue our conversation, but for this chapter, I just want to thank you for being here, and just thank you for being the person you are all the years. And I'm just speaking for me, who, you know, most of the time I experience you, it's like it's online or this and that, but it has a profound effect on my life, and my son watches you all the time.
Oh, really, Shane?
Shane, you'll have to meet him. But
I have to meet him.
The effect you have on my life, I can speak for myself, and I know countless other people's, is a priceless thing. And so in any moment that you doubt, just know that you are making a huge difference to many individuals. And then when you make a difference to individuals, they carry that. And your courage, your honesty, just your spirit, it's a blessing, and I'm grateful for what you bring to this world, and I'm honored to know you. And you mentioned Bob Dylan. I'm blessed to get to share a Bob Dylan song with you.
That's right.
To close
Ties it all
out.
together, Seth, it's an honor. I'm honored as well. You're a great man, and I really appreciate being here with you. And you're a blessing to my life, dude. Like, I mean, Seth has helped me out so much just recently, even like with gigs, and, you know, thank you.
Anytime. I love you, brother, and bless you. God bless you and your family, and just keep going strong, and hope we know each other for another 50 years at least.
Me too, huh? That'd be cool.
Yes.
Could happen.
Yes. All right. It's been Fast Heart Mart.
'cause I can't shoot them anymore. That cold black cloud is coming down, down, down. I feel like I'm knocking on heaven's door. Knock, knock, 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 knocking on heaven's door. Mama, take this badge from me, 'cause I can't use it anymore. It's getting dark, too dark to see, and I feel like I'm knocking on heaven's door. Knock, knock, 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 knocking on heaven's door. Somewhere between Albuquerque and Santa Fe is where we used to love to stay. But it's been a long time since we've been alone, and I feel like I'm knocking on heaven's door. Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door. Knocking on heaven's door. Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door. Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door.